Welcome to my YouTube channel, Quotellective, where words inspire and thoughts evolve. Today we'll explore timeless wisdom from Oscar Wilde, guiding us toward a life of purpose, authenticity, and happiness. Get ready to reflect, grow, and embrace the beauty of words. Be yourself. Everyone else has already been claimed. To truly live is the rarest feat. Most people simply exist. Forgive your enemies. Nothing frustrates them more. I'm so clever that sometimes even I can't grasp what I'm saying. We may be in the gutter, but some of us have our eyes on the star. If you can't enjoy a book repeatedly, it's hardly worth reading once. What you read for pleasure shapes who you become when you have no choice. Books that society labels immoral often hold a mirror up to its own shame. Truth is seldom pure and never simple. Yes, I am a dreamer, for a dreamer walks by moonlight and sees dawn before the world does. You can never be too dressed up or too educated. Never give your love to someone who treats you normally. Most people are merely imitations. Their ideas echo others. Their lives are copies, and their passions are borrowed lines. You'll always feel an affinity for me. I embody all the sins you never dared commit. A true friend will do the technique on your face. Women are meant to be cherished, not dissected for understanding. I'd rather avoid heaven. None of my friends are there. Living strictly within your means shows a lack of imagination. Every saint has a past, and every sinner has a future. Experience is just the name we give to our errors. I'm no longer young enough to think I know everything. A belief isn't automatically true just because someone dies for it. Hearts exist to be broken. You love someone not for their appearance, clothes, or car, but because they have a song only you can hear. Those who find ugliness in beauty are corrupt but lack charm. Those who find beauty in beauty are refined. They are the chosen, to whom beautiful things mean only beauty. Books are neither moral nor immoral. They're either well-written or poorly written. Romance thrives on uncertainty. Everything in life is about sex, except sex itself. That's about power. A man is least himself when he speaks openly. Give him a mask and he'll reveal the truth. In creating humanity, I think God somewhat overestimated our abilities. I never travel without my diary. One should always carry something thrilling to read on a train. With freedom, beauty, books, and moonlight, how could anyone be anything but happy? To define something is to confine it. Death must be a very peaceful place, lying on the soft ground, with the swaying grass overhead wrapped in silence. A place where time stops, life is forgiven, and true peace is found. People today's know the prices of everything, but fail to grasp the values of anything. Some people bring joy wherever they go. Others, whenever they go. I refuse to be ruled by my emotions. I want to harness, savor, and master them. Education is valuable, but it's worth remembering that the most meaningfully truths cannot be taught. I can withstand anything except temptation. A one cynic knows the cost of everything and the value of nothing. Behind every beautifully things lies a tragedy. All women grow to resemble their mothers. That's their tragedy. Men do not, and that is theirs. The only way to rid oneself of temptation is to give in to it. I love books so much that I would never stop wanting to write them. There is only one thing worse than being talked about, and that's being ignored. Learning to love oneself is the start of a lifelong love story. This is ridiculous, classifying people as good or bad, either attractive or dull. Children's love their parents as they grow up. They judges them, and sometimes they forgive theme. References cannot be useful for intelligence. Who can be poor when they are loved? Tears are for plain women. Pretty women go shopping instead. My tastes are simple. I'm always content with the best. To be in love is to deceive oneself at first, and ultimately to deceive others. That's what the world calls romance. Selfishness isn't living as you wish. It's expecting others to live as you wish. What of art? It's a sickness. Love? It's an illusion. Religion? The stylish stand-in for belief. You're a skeptic. Never. Skepticism is the birth of faith. Then what are you? To define is to restrict. We create our own monster, and in doing so make this world our own hell. Never marry, Dorian. Men marry because they're bored. Women out of curiosity. Both end up disappointed. I have nothing to declare but my genius. It's easy to sympathize with a friend's struggles, but it takes a truly noble character to rejoice in their success. A one-man face is his autobiography. A one-woman face is her legend. Fashion is so unbearably ugly that we have to changes it every 6 months. When's everyone's else's agrees with me, I start to worries that's maybe im wrongs. No good deed goes unpunished. A good dinner can forgive anyone, even your own family. Morality is simply simply our attitudes towards those we dislike. Some things are especially valuable because they are temporary. Life is too important to be taken too seriously. Each man destroys what he loves. Let this truth be known, some with a harsh glare, others with flattery, the cowards with a kiss, the braves with a sword. The world is a stages, though the castings is terrible. I admire men with a future and women with a past. Live, embrace the beautiful life within you. Let nothing slip by. Always seek new sensations and fear nothing. To lose one parent, Mr. Worthing, may be unfortunate, but to lose both borders on carelessness. We live in a time when only unnecessary things seems necessary. Art is the only serious pursuits, and the artist is the only person who never takes anything seriously. Humanity is too serious. That's its original sin. If early humans had known how to laugh, history would be different. I choose my friends based on their beauty, acquaintances based on their character, and enemies based on their intelligence. Every woman has a rebellious streak. Most people's theses days have a slow death of common senses, and they realizes too late that these are mistakes they never regret. Only dull people sparkle at breakfast. Only the senses can cure the soul, just as only the soul can heal the senses. Does boredom make you feel lonely without anyone to accompany you? To get my youth back, I would do anything except exercise, getting up early, or behaving respectfully. Words, how haunting they are. Clear, vivid, and unkind. There's no escape from them, yet they hold an enchanting power, bringing form to the abstract, their melody as sweet as a viol or lute. Words, could anything feel more real? Every charming portrait is of the artist, not of the sitter. You change the world just by being. The beauty of your being rewrites history. There are only two types of people who truly attract us: those who know absolutely everything, and those who know nothing at all. Everything in moderation, including moderation itself. How can any woman expect to be happy with a man who insists on treating her like a completely normal person? If you're gone for a long time, I'll wait for you all my life. The suspense is dreadful. I hope it endures. There are moments when we have to choose between living a full, completely, and true life, or living the false, shallow existence that the world hypocritically expects of us. America stands out as the only nation that moved from barbarism to decadence without any civilization in between. There are no moral or immoral books. There are simply well-written or poorly written ones, and that is all. The public has an endless curiosity about everything, except for things truly worth knowing. Society may forgive the criminal, but it never forgives the dreamer. Laughter makes for a good start to a friendship, and is by far the best way to end one. I might disagree with you, but I'll defend your right to make a fool of yourself with my life. A real idea should carry a hint of danger. Anything less doesn't deserve the title. The only true sin is stupidity. Men want to be a woman's first love. That's their obvious vanity. Women, on the other hand, prefer to be a man's last romance. As paradoxical as it sounds, life imitates art much more than art imitates life. I've come to appreciate secrecy. It's one of the few things that can add a sense of mystery and wonder to modern life. The simplest things can be enchanting if hidden. Life is too short to learn German. One of the best feelings is performing a good deed anonymously and then having someone find out. When a man does something truly foolish, it's always driven by the noblest of motives. Never trust a woman who reveals her true age. If she'll share that, she'll share anything. I always pass on good advice because it's useless to me. Optimism is often rooted in sheer terror. In fiction, the good end happily and the bad unhappily. That's what defines it. Women have more fun in this world. Far more things are off limits to them. It takes courage to see the world in all its flawed glory, yet still find love for it. Death must be deeply beautiful. A place to lie in soft earth, grasses waving above, embraced by silence. A space beyond yesterday and tomorrow, where time is forgotten, life is forgiven, and peace reigns. You can open the door to that realm for me because love remains with you, and love is stronger than death. I'm weary of myself tonight. I wish I could be someone else. You should have a cigarette. It's the perfect pleasure, exquisite yet leaving you unsatisfied. What more could one want? They promised dreams could come true, but forgot to mention nightmares are dreams too. There are many things we'd discard if we weren't afraid others might pick them up. She embodies all the world's great heroines. She is more than just a person. I love her, and I must make her love me. I want to make Romeo jealous, to make the long-gone lovers hear our laughter and feel sorrow. I want our passion to stir even the ashes into life. Each person destroys what they love. Let this truth be known. Some do it with harsh words, others with flattering ones. The coward kills with a kiss, the brave with a sword. Some kill fulfill their love while still young, others when they're old. Some choke it with wealth, while the kindest do so quickly as the dead grow cold. Some love briefly, some forever. Some sell, others buy. Some kill with tears, some without a sigh. Though each destroys what they love, not all of them die. There's a luxury in self-blame. When we fault ourselves, we feel no one else has the right to criticize us. Confession, not the confessor, grants absolution. There are only two tragedies in this world: not getting what one wants and getting it. Death must be profoundly peaceful. To rest in the soft earth, grasses waving above, and listen to silence. No past, no future, beyond time, beyond life, at peace. The public is incredibly tolerant. It forgives everything except genius. If you hear no evil and speak no evil, you won't be invited to cocktail parties. I never do today what I can delay until the day after tomorrow. A touch of sincerity is dangerous. Too much is fatal. The mystery of love is greater than the mystery of death. A man can be content with any woman as long as he doesn't love her. I only knew shadows and mistook them for reality. If you want to be a grocer, a general, a politician, or a judge, you'll become one. That's your punishment. But if you wander without knowing what you'll become, living what some call a dynamic, artistic life, where each day reveals a new self, then you become nothing, and that's your reward. This wallpaper is dreadful. One of us simply has to go. If I'm occasionally overdressed, I make up for it by being immensely overeducated. All art is ultimately useless. One should always be in love. That's precisely why one should never marry. The tragedy isn't that it breaks. One's hearts are meant to break, but that it hardens it to stone. Keep love in your heart. Life without it is a sunless garden with dead flowers. The feeling of loving and being loved brings warmth and richness that nothing else can. He has no enemies, yet is intensely disliked by his friends. Men marry from exhaustion. Women marry from curiosity. Both are left disappointed. I am not saying we should all misbehave, but we should at least look like we could. Music stirs romantic feelings, or at least frays the nerves, which is the same thing these days. Always. What a dreadful word. It makes me shudder. Women overuse it, ruining every romance by trying to make it last forever. It's a meaningless word. The only difference between a whim and lifelong passion is that whims just last a bit longer. I love acting. It feels far more real than life. Never regret your fall, O fearless Icarus. The greatest tragedy is to never feel the burning light. To influence another is to give them your soul. Their thoughts, passions, virtues, and even sins are no longer their own. They become echoes of someone else's music, actors in a play written for another. The aim of life is self-development, to fully realize one's nature. That is our purpose. Yet people today fear themselves. They've forgotten the highest duty, the duty owed to oneself. Yes, they are charitable, feeding the hungry and clothing the poor, but their own souls are starving and bare. Courage has faded from humanity. Perhaps we never had it. It is society's judgment, the terror of God, that rules us. You like everyone? In other words, you're indifferent to everyone. I prefer people over principles, and those without principles above all. Only shallow people truly know themselves. It's easy to be kind to people you care nothing about. The world was my oyster, but I used the wrong fork. I hope you haven't been leading a double life, pretending to be wicked and being good all along. That would be hypocrisy. Disobedience to anyone familiar with history is humanity's original virtue. Progress comes through disobedience and rebellion. She is undeniably clever, almost too clever for a woman. She misses that elusive charm of vulnerability. We women, as someone once said, love through what we hear, just as men love through what they see, if they even truly love at all. Life is rarely fair, and perhaps that's a fortunate thing for most of us. I can't fathom how you can sit there calmly eating muffins while we're facing this dreadful problem. It feels absolutely heartless to me. Well, I can't eat muffins in an agitated state. The butter might end up on my cuffs. Muffins must be eaten calmly. It's the only way. I say it's heartless to eat muffins at all in these circumstances. The purpose of life is self-discovery, to fully realize one's own nature. That is our reason for being here. Consistency is the defining trait of the unimaginative. The only way to rid oneself of temptation is to yield to it. Resisting only leaves the soul longing for what has been denied, yearning for what society has unjustly labeled monstrous. I'm not about to tell you that the world's opinion means nothing, or that society's voice doesn't matter. They matter a great deal, far too much. Yet there are times when one must choose between living a life that is true and whole, or conforming to a shallow, degrading existence that society hypocritically demands. You face that choice now. Decide. Everything that's popular is wrong. Irony is utterly wasted on the foolish. No one is wealthy enough to buy back their past. When the gods intend to punish us, they answer our prayers. Every delightful artist I've met was mediocre. True artists live only through their work, making them utterly dull in real life. Great poets, in particular, are unpoetical beings. Lesser poets, however, are often captivating. The worse their poetry, the more intriguing they seem. Simply publishing a book of mediocre sonnets makes one irresistibly charming, for they live the poetry they cannot write, while others write poetry they don't dare live. Only shallow minds disregard appearances. The true mystery of life lies in the visible, not the invisible. I don't care for compliments, and I see no reason why a man should think a woman feels flattered by a collection of words he doesn't even mean. We think highly of others because we fear for ourselves. Optimism's foundation is pure terror. I have no patience for those who don't take meals seriously. It's so superficial of them. Punctuality is the thief of time. The charm of the past lies in the fact that it is behind us. Some rise early because there's much to do and sleep early because there's so little to think about. Your life has been your art. You've composed yourself into music, turning your days into poetry. A man who doesn't think for himself doesn't think at all. When a woman remarries, it's usually because she despised her first husband. When a man remarries, it's because he adored his first wife. Women try their luck. Men gamble theirs. She carries herself as though she were beautiful. Many American women do, and that's the source of their charm. There's no possibility of friendship between men and women. There is passion, rivalry, reverence, love, but no friendship. Friendship is even more tragic than love. It endures longer. When you're winning, you should always play fairly. Work is the curse of the drinking classes. I don't find anything romantic about proposing. Love is romantic, yes, but an actual proposal is quite dull. You might be accepted after all, and that's usually the case. The essence of romance is its uncertainty. If I ever get married, I'll try to forget it. I adore simple pleasures. They're the last escape for complex souls. Deception of others? That is what society calls romance. Some things are far too significant to be taken seriously. There's always something faintly absurd about the emotions of people we no longer love. To regret one's experiences is to halt one's growth. To deny them is to put a lie into one's life. It's a rejection of the soul. Life is woven from nerves, fibers, and meticulously built cells where thoughts hide and passions dream. You may think you're safe and feel secure, yet a flash of color, a familiar scent, a line from an old poem, or a note from forgotten music can awaken hidden memories. It's in such moments that our lives are defined. A flower blooms for its own joy. Hearts find life through being wounded. Only shallow people require years to move past an emotion. A self-mastered man can end sorrow as effortlessly as he creates pleasure. I don't want to be at the mercy of my emotions. I want to control them, savor them, and master them. Man may be many things, but rational is not one of them. I love talking about nothing. It's the only topic I truly know. One has the right to judge a man by the influence he exerts over his friends. In serious matters, style matters more than sincerity. The strength of women lies in the fact that they are psychologically inexplicable. Men can be analyzed, women can only be adored. In earlier times, books were penned by men of letters and read by the public. Now, the public writes, but no one reads. It takes immense courage to see the world in all its tainted beauty and still love it. More so to see that beauty in someone you love. Misfortunes can be endured as they come from outside, but to suffer for one's own failings, that is the sting of life. When I feel deeply for someone, I never share their name. It seems that a part of them is giving. I have come to cherish secrecy. After the first drink, you see things as you wanted them to be. Seconds later, you see them as they are not. By the third, you see them as they truly are. And that's the most terrifying thing. I have no issue with anyone's private life, as long as it's not in the streets frightening the horses. Ordinary wealth can be stolen. Real riches cannot. Your soul holds precious treasures that no one can take from you. Life isn't complex. We are. Life is simple, and simplicity is the right path. It's scary how people say things behind someone's back that are completely and utterly true. I am utterly weary of cleverness. Everyone seems clever these days. A pessimist is one who grumbles about the noise when opportunity reality knocks. You've killed my love. You once stirred my imagination, but now you don't even pique my curiosity. I loved you because you were brilliant. You had genius. You brought to life the dreams of great poets, giving shape to art's shadows, but you've thrown it away. You are shallow and trivial. Sin etches itself on a man's face. It cannot be hidden, but we can never reclaim our youth. That pulse of joy that beat within us at 20 slows, our bodies weaken, and our senses decay. We become mere puppets, haunted by memories of passions we were too fearful to embrace and temptations we lacked the courage to accept. Imitation is the sincerest praise that mediocrity can offer greatness. It's the foolish and unattractive who fare best in this world. Popularity is an insult I have never borne. Thank you for joining us on this journey through Oscar Wilde's profound quotes. May his wisdom inspire you to live authentically, love deeply, and cherish every moment. Subscribe to Quotellective for more inspirational content and join the conversation in the comments below.